Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news this Friday morning. Of course, today is the day that Sergio Reguilón's going to sign, isn't he? That's not our words. We've never said that, but it was floating around there at the start of the week, and as suspected, has not happened. Look, never say never. It could happen today. It could happen today, but it's very, very unlikely to happen. But we are going to be talking about relevant things. Big update on Paul Pogba. He's back training with Manchester United today. So Man United have got a game tomorrow, their only pre-season game against Aston Villa. You wouldn't expect Pogba to play in that. There's a few players that are not back in training yet. I think Juan Mata's training at home as well. But Pogba back, and that means that with the eye on that Crystal Palace game, which is a very important game a week tomorrow, good to have Paul Pogba back. Welcome to Jack Bedford, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Thank you for joining. We're also going to be talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's comments, demanding more. Some people think he's not demanding more, but I think if you actually read the comments, he is. We'll talk about that. Welcome to James O'Connell, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Look, very, very quickly, I ain't going to spend a lot of time talking about Sancho. Zayn Mohammed says talk about Sancho. I'm not going to talk about Sancho because... well, I am actually, but not in the sense that he's not going to be a big part of the show. There's a lot of other things I want to talk about. But Rio Ferdinand said that United need to sign Sancho because it's about closing the gap. Liverpool and Man City aren't spending the money they would like to spend. Chelsea have done, and it's United's job to try and close that gap in a summer that they can take advantage of. And I think Rio is spot on there, and many of us have said that. But also, stop rubbing your hands together. It's annoying my noise in my headphones, says Johnny Moss. Just don't tell me not to do something. Ever since I was a child, I will do it. You know, don't do that. No, I can't say what I was going to say. Jeffy B, new member. Welcome to the Members Club, Jeffy B. But no, seriously, the point is that Harry Pinero was on the show last night with Flex. Really good show. I watched it when I got in from training. And Harry Pinero obviously has got good connections around sort of Jadon Sancho. He was saying it's going to be a done deal. You know, I'm glad somebody else is saying it. But let's see what happens with Sancho. All I'm going to say is today could be a really important day. Tomorrow could be an important day. And Sunday could be an important day. Said it last night, didn't I? Weekend could be make or break on this deal. There's a feeling something's going to happen. I was told that by two separate people last night. Let's see what happens. I'm not saying anything. Well, I already have, but you know what I mean? Let's just see what happens this weekend. If United want him to play against Palace, this deal needs to get moving over the weekend. So let's see what happens with that. But let's start off with what I wanted to talk about. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer demanding more from Manchester United. Now, I think lost in everything that's going on at the moment, our manager has actually given quotes that normally we would be like all over and we would be digesting these and dissecting them. Thanks for the super chat, 8As. And we are going to, because I think it is very important. And Connor Blakely says, hi Mark, loving the shows at the moment. Can you say Tom Beardsworth is a prat? No. I can read it out and Tom gets his shout out and everyone else will call him a prat. But let me just say this. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, good morning. What's the rubber gang, says Anish Powell. Check out Mark Goldbridge going for Goldbridge. If you're not part of the rubber gang, you're not part of the. If you know, you know. If you know what the rubber gang is, you know. If you don't know what the rubber gang is, then you need to watch Mark Goldbridge channel. I think it's entitled "My Goldbridge the Criminal." Just search it on YouTube. And you'll find all about the rubber gang. But let's get on with the football gang. Solskjaer has come out with some very interesting quotes. Basically, he was asked by, I think it was BBC Radio 5 Live, and we touched on it a bit yesterday, but there's a lot more to it. He was said, are you happy? Would you be happy with this squad if you didn't have any more signings? And Ollie said that, basically said that he's very happy with the squad that he's got. Now, that answer to that question is the only answer he can give. I put a tweet out about it this morning, and even the people in the replies were like, what else could he say? And I said, that's why I put bullshit underneath it, because it's not true. That's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know what? If you are a happy... this is going to cause trouble. If you're a happily married person, I didn't say man, because you can be married if you two women, two men, lots of combinations. Why shouldn't it be? We live in a diverse world. But if you're a happily married person, right, and somebody say, and maybe you're having a nibble on the side, and I don't condone that. I think it's disgusting. Loyalty and trust are very important. It's a dying breed in this world, loyalty and trust. And so, but maybe, you're a happily married person. Didn't say there was kids there. Don't judge them. And, the maybe you're having a little bit of a nibble on the side, but that nibble on the side says I don't want anything more than that. I'm just enjoying what we're doing. You know, maybe walks around the local park, maybe something in a hotel room. Who knows? But I'm losing myself now. God, Friday. You can tell it's Friday. Anyway, somebody says to you on a night out when you're out with your married person, "Are you happily married?" Yes, I am. You're not going to sit there and go, "I'm happily married, but I'm also having a nibble on the side," that could just end up being a nibble, but could turn into a full meal. So, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't sit there. It's unfaithful to his squad, isn't it, if he sits there and says, "Are you happy with this squad if you get no more signings?" Well, the question's loaded, isn't it? It's not, "Are you happy with the squad? Are you looking for new signings?" It's, "Are you happy with this squad if you get no more signings?" It's a very loaded question. So if he sat there and went, "Well, not really. I'm not satisfied with this squad. We do need better, more excitement in it. But I'll just have to put up with this." You know, you're not going to do that, are you? So we can only answer the question one way. But what he did say is, "I'm always trying to improve. We're always trying to improve this squad." But then he also said, "Not everyone can spend millions and new millions. A quick fix." And then he went on to say, "Some teams have bought a lot of players in. Some teams are trusting the process and the coaching. And a quick fix is hard to gel players." So he's effectively talking about Chelsea there. But when you take the combination of everything what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is saying, the most important thing is we're always trying to improve this squad. And if somebody said, "Could you win the league with this squad?" And I don't know whether anyone would be brave enough to ask Solskjaer that. And I don't know whether Solskjaer would actually be brave enough to answer it. But if you said, I mean, I think Lampard's come out and said something, I didn't take over Chelsea to finish fourth. I want to win titles. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's the same. So if you sat Ole Gunnar Solskjaer down and said, "Can you win the Premier League with this squad you have today?" he's a liar if he doesn't say no. Because he can't. And he wants to. So we're always trying to improve. And Jadon Sancho improves us. And a top-class centre-back improves us. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can say, "Well, look, there's no quick fix," or, you know, some teams are trust. You know, when he says some teams, let me just read these super chats and I'll come back. "Hi, Mark. I don't really check the news. Is there any information about Alex Telles?" says CV Kevin. "Only what we spoke about yesterday, mate. United have been offered him and he's being considered, much the same as Sergio Reguilon, but nothing's moving at the moment. Would you like to do Amazon do an all or nothing doc on United so we can finally see how the club is run behind the scenes?" says Philip Richardson. Yeah, but it wouldn't necessarily be a show all. They'd keep stuff out. "And if you throw another Sancho news at me, I will simply lose it. Tony Stark, love the show," says Naja. "I'm only going to do a Sancho video over the next few days if there is anything new." So there you go. We are where we are with Sancho. We think it's going to be done. We think something might be happening over the weekend. But if it doesn't, we won't do a Sancho video. "Hi, Mr. Goldberg. I've heard a lot of people saying that United need a Sue centre-back, but United's defence was the third best in the league and De Gea was at fault for a lot of the goals." Boring, Connor. Thanks for the super chat. I'm not saying you're boring, Connor, but a few people have said this. And I will answer this and say this. Why is it? Why are we banging our chest for having the third best defence? Everybody else in the league was shit. It was a shit Premier League. Why would you go, "Oh, we don't need a new defence. We've got the third shittest defence in the league." Well, we haven't got the third shittest, but you know what I mean. Liverpool had a good defence. City didn't, and nobody else did. Defensively, that's one of the worst Premier Leagues I've ever seen. And also, what are you talking about? If you are trying to defend our defence, pardon the pun, because they had the third best defence in the league, we were 30-something points off the title. You know, maybe if we had a decent defence, we'd be 20 points off the title, and then a decent attack, you'd be 5 points off the title. Don't come at me telling me we don't need to improve our defence because we've got the third best defence in the league. When we were off the title by about 30 points and we were off bloody second by about 20 points, there's a big gap there. Third means sod all in a league like that. It's like Mourinho's second place. It means nothing when you are 20 points off first. It means nothing. Mark, Boris has given you a table of 6 United players past and present. Who's on your table of 6? Oh, I can't answer that right. And we are doing them. I'll do that tonight. Table of 6. I'll do that on the 8 o'clock show because this is meant to be a news show and it's descending into a Saturday night show. David Barangunta, thank you, latest member of the Nightstand Members Club, and welcome Irvin Hazik as well. Let me go back to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I've got loads to get through and we're not getting through it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said that some teams are buying players, some teams trust the process and their coaching. That statement is a Lollipop Lane statement. Oh, look, Lollipop Lane, lovely candy floss clouds and gingerbread houses and grass made of that, you know, I don't know, something you can eat that's nice. which isn't grass. It's horrible. But effectively, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying that, you know, some teams want to buy players, some teams want to trust the process and the coaching. That statement there, again, is just filling time. He doesn't mean that, because if you offered any Premier League manager 150 million quid, none of them would get their moral shield and sword out and go, no, I don't want the 150 million pounds. I trust the process and I trust my coaching. They would grab that 150 million pounds and spend it before you could say something. I can't think of anything. It's just one of those shows. But like, no manager's going to trust the process and trust the coaching when they're offered 150 million quid. Klopp has to trust the process and trust the coaching, but if you gave him the money, he'd spend it. So managers that come out with, you know, it's not all about spending money, so we believe in that, we trust our process and coaching. What a load of crap. If I said to you, there's Jadon Sancho, or you can work with Andreas Pereira and Dan James, nothing against those two players actually, but you'd be an idiot not to take Jadon Sancho. So look, this is just a soundbite from Ollie. This is a holding statement from Ollie. This is, we're going to get Sancho, but you know what? I'm just going to put a holding statement out there. We know what Solskjaer wants, and it's what most of you want, and I think he's going to get it. In my opinion, Brandon Williams should be covered for right back, not left back, says Kit Erland. Welcome to Patrick McCafferty and Mustafa Kalo, latest members of the United Stand Members Club. And an update on Thiago is coming in now, so that's a well-timed question from the live comments. And Giggs said United should go for David Brooks. I don't want him near United. Your thoughts? We should get Alex Telles and Jadon. Happy with the business. And hi Mark, it's my son Keaton's 21st birthday. Always watches your show. Big up United Stand, says Dante Anderson. Happy birthday to Keaton. If everyone in the live comments can drop that in. It's his 21 today. I remember that only a couple of years ago. I wish. Big one, 21. Hope you're going to have a nice day. Friday as well, so I'm sure you will have something planned. Have a good day, Keaton. Thiago update. Dieter Hamann, as retweeted by Christian Falk. Thiago will definitely be a Liverpool player. German, Dieter Hamann, used to play for Liverpool, used to play for Bayern Munich, I think, as well. And Christian Falk is retweeting it. So it looks very much like Thiago will be a Liverpool player. And they are favourites to get him. And that will improve Liverpool as a lot. I've not dodged the Ryan Giggs question there on David Brooks. I mean, at the end of the day, all I can say with all due respect is, and obviously we did an interview with Ryan Giggs, didn't we, a few months ago. And, he's a very... played at United for however many years, won more Premier Leagues than anybody, manager of Wales, he knows his stuff. He scouted Martial, didn't he? I mean, that's the story. But look, if he recommends us that Roden at Swansea and Brooks at Bournemouth, well, there's an obvious connection here. Dan James, they're all Welsh players. And of course Ryan Giggs thinks Brooks and Foden and Dan James are great because they're Welsh and they play for his team and he coaches them. But has Ryan Giggs coached Manchester United? Has he coached... Well, he did, but, for about 4 games. Has he coached PSG? Ryan Giggs is judging players in a lake that's not... It's Wales, with all due respect. And I don't think that David Brooks is good enough for Manchester United. I just don't. United shouldn't be fishing in that pond. If I'm absolutely blunt... United should not be picking up players from Bournemouth. Callum Wilson and Fraser have gone from Bournemouth to Newcastle. That's the journey for relegated players. Unless you're a top echelon player, which David Brooks isn't. I mean, I'm talking here Jack Grealish, maybe a Nathan Ake. But the likes of Cantwell's at Norwich and Jamal Lewis, another one who's going to Newcastle, that's the level that they should be going in. So not for me. Fred's come out and said that he wants to stay at Manchester United. I mean, look, I think he will end up staying at Manchester United, so I don't think that's going to be a story. Hi, Mark, I get my college offers today. When I say I hope I get an offer, says Dylan Bradley. Good luck with that. And I get an offer letter from University of Liverpool, but I'm going to reject them and we'll go to Southampton for my post-graduation, says Manmit Singh. Well, go wherever it's best. I mean, look, if Liverpool's the better university for you, you should go there. Don't do it just because of football loyalty. Although Southampton's not bad. I think my wife went to Southampton University and she said she liked it. Fred wants to go. Close the gap. Thoughts on done deal. Ollie happy. Rashford concerns. Tube 6. Okay. Gareth Bale. I want to talk about... I'm glad we're doing this well into the comments. The reality is that... I was reading an article in the Manchester Evening News, actually, that for all the years that Manchester United have been linked to Gareth Bale, this summer is the one summer that probably makes the most sense for us to go for him, because he's available for about 20 million quid. Real Madrid are talking about paying half his wages, so I think he's on about 600k rumoured a week. 600k a week. So it would be about 300k a week. But and also, I was reading through the article and it was saying things like it makes sense because he knows the Premier League. And I think it was sort of hinting at that Gareth Bale over a Jadon Sancho might make more sense. And that's where I got off the train and clicked I wasn't on the train. I mean, I just got off the article train and was like, I've had enough of this now. Because I'm like, Gareth Bale doesn't make any sense to Manchester United, actually. If he knows the Premier League, he knows the Premier League from 12? Like, how many years is it since Bale played in the Premier League? 7 years? Something like that? So he doesn't know the Premier League. He's 31. He may well be injury prone, he may not. We don't know because he never plays. Gareth Bale is not a Manchester United player in the mould of what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is trying to build here. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants hungry, passionate players who want to succeed and build something at Manchester United. I don't think Gareth Bale strikes me as a player that is hungry anymore. He's basically had his career. I think he wants to maybe prove a point. Hopefully he does, but I don't think United is the right place for Gareth Bale. I'd like to see Gareth Bale back at Spurs. I think Mourinho and Bale would probably be quite a good combination. And he's played for Spurs before, but they won't be able to afford him. But from a Manchester United point of view, if we did it, look, again, I'd rather get Gareth Bale than Brooks, but Manchester United's future's Jadon Sancho, and he fits the bill perfectly. Gareth Bale, I think Gareth Bale on a loan, just no, not for me. I don't know what people think about it. I just think that Gareth Bale is and was a fantastic player, but I just don't think he can be that player anymore. And I don't think it's the player that Manchester United should be considering in any shape or form. Can you explain why Ole doesn't favour Dalot? Lukaku and Dalot were the reasons we won against PSG, and that result got Ole the United job. Rom left, agree, but Dalot out of favour. Why? Love the show, says Mehil. I think it's a very good question. You know, very, very good question, and I'd be interested to see what people in the live comments think, or in the comments, because my interpretation with Dalot, and I've seen this many times, is it's like I never understood why Van Gaal kept picking Fellaini over Herrera, and you know that doesn't make any sense now. Like, Herrera was way more a Man United player than Fellaini, but the reality is most coaches have. Like all of us, they just have favourites. They have things that they take a liking to. And the thing that we don't know is, because we don't see these players day to day and we don't know how they train, is that we judge it, oh, he's not picked Dalot again. Oh, why is he picking Williams over Dalot? You know, we see the result of the favouritism, but we don't know why it exists. I've got to be honest, I side with Ole on Dalot. I don't like Dalot defensively. And I think you know, he's not. I actually do agree with Ole. I think there's a player you can sell for 20 million there that's never going to have a future at Manchester United. And you know, I probably would have used him more than Ole has, but Ole doesn't use him, and he's just a player that Ole doesn't rate. And I think, you know, in relation to Fred, I think if Ole could have got Thiago and sold Fred, he would have done it. I think he likes Fred more than Dalot, but I think when the push comes to shove, Fred's not in the team. He's tried McTominay ahead of Fred, you know. So I just think Ole's got, like any manager, he's got certain players that he likes and some that he doesn't, in a footballing sense. And Dalot just isn't a player that he rates. And every manager's been like that. Every manager's been like that. So I don't think there's a reason for it. I just think some managers like other players over others, and Dalot is just not a player that's going to have a future at Manchester United. Dylan says, I've got a lot of respect for Bale, but people thinking he's a good alternative for Sancho is wishful thinking. 31, injury prone and past his best. And let's have a quick look here. So yeah, people are asking about Sancho a bit. I mean, look, I don't want to do another video on Sancho. This is a morning transfer and Man United news show, and that's what it should be. And to just say Sancho this, Sancho that, Sancho changed this, you know, we are where we are with Sancho. Sancho is, and that's good actually. Let's just do a where we are with Man United transfers at the moment. So where we are with United at the moment is obviously 90% club. Sancho's going to sign. I am doing watch-alongs this weekend. Thanks, Adam. I'll come back to that in a minute. So where we are with Sancho is, as I said last night, I've heard from a couple of people that this weekend's make or break, and there's expected to be some movement around it. I don't think it's going to be holding the shirt up, but I think it could be like Van der Beek, where it escalates, and then midweek next week or sometime he's holding the shirt up so he can play against Palace. Let's see what happens with that and Sancho. I think Sancho's the priority, and I think Sancho is the deal that United are working on and no other at this time. So I think that's where we are with Sancho. Let's see what happens in the coming hours and days. On the left-back situation, as I said last night, Telles is a player that United are monitoring and have been offered, and Sergio Reguilon is a player that Manchester United are monitoring and have been offered. But as I said yesterday when I'd been talking to the guys at the Muppeteers, it just feels now that Manchester United are focusing solely on Sancho, because Sancho goes straight into the team for the Palace game and therefore is more urgent and is better than any other signing we're going to make. Whereas your left back or your centre back or your Josh King or whoever, they can wait until the season started because they're not necessarily going straight into the team. The left back we buy, although some people would play them over Luke Shaw, we've got Luke Shaw, and Luke Shaw's a very good left back and he can play against Palace. So that's where we are. I mean, the Sergio Reguilon thing was overhyped at the start of the week anyway. Check what I said on the videos all week. I said, look, I like him. I'd like United to buy him. We do need 2 left-footed left-backs, but I don't feel that this deal is where people think it is, which is, oh, it'll be done deal by the end of the week. I've been told this, or or guesses or whatever. We're not at that point. It's Friday now. We're not going to reveal Sergio Reguilon today. There might be a development in the story today, but he ain't going to be holding up a Man United shirt, which is what the story was at the start of the week. So, and I don't think that's going to happen anyway. I think Reguilon or Telles, they're going to have. They're looking like they're going to wait. They're going to have to wait, and it makes sense for United that we focus on Sancho. Watch-alongs tomorrow will be on That's Football. I'm definitely doing Everton Spurs on Sunday at 4:30. And I'm going to do Arsenal versus Fulham as the opener tomorrow lunchtime. So that'll be on That's Football if you want to get over there and subscribe. Another super chat here. Do you think there's any chance all the hype and expectation for Sancho could affect him? We've seen big money deals affect players before. Hope not, says Aram. I mean, that's a good question, but it's a question for when he's signed. I don't want to go into how does Jadon Sancho fit into a United team. What are the expectations for Jadon Sancho? Because those, to me, are presumptuous. We haven't signed him yet. I'm confident we will sign him, but I don't want to start saying about things like that. But what I would say is, when we signed Bruno Fernandes, and again, you can check the videos, I think Gary Neville came out and said, expectations should be low because it's very hard to come into a team in January and settle. And he was right. But I said, I know I shouldn't say this, but I guarantee he'll hit the ground running. I've watched a lot of Bruno. I know what he's about. He's either going to hit the ground running or he's going to flop. And he ain't going to flop. He'll hit the ground running. And he did. And look, maybe expectations were heaped on him by me and some others, but I knew Bruno. I knew what he would be about. I know what his personality is. And I knew he'd just settle in and hit the ground running, which he did. He took us from like 40, long way off 4th to 3rd. With Jadon Sancho, it will be different in my mind. I'm not expecting Jadon Sancho to come in and do what Bruno Fernandes did. He might well do it. He's good enough to do it. But I think with Sancho, because he'll be a big signing, because he'll be our biggest signing of the summer, because there's a lot of hype around him, because he's been playing in the Bundesliga, all the British press, all the rivals, all the United fans are just going to watch him like a hawk. And the first time he loses the ball, he'll be a flop. My expectations with Sancho are that we're buying a 20-year-old who is one of the best players in the world for his age group and can be one of the best players in the world. There is still time to adapt to the Premier League that needs to be given. There is still development of his game that needs to be given. And we will have to be a patient, accommodating and supportive fan base with Jadon Sancho because it could take a little bit of time. It might not. He might, he's so good. He might just go bang straight away. And I think he probably will. But we will need to be patient if that signing happens because I just think we will. And we will need to be supportive. But having said that, the personality of Jadon Sancho suggests that he may well hit the ground running because he went from Manchester City to Dortmund as a very young player and he's been playing in that Dortmund side and Champions League football for a good few years now and has been absolutely fantastic. So he's a very strong-minded individual as well and he can definitely handle the pressure. Do you think Havertz will do well at Chelsea? Says Suzanne. I do, actually. I do. And so, you know what? We're not playing in the Premier League until a week tomorrow. But I'm very excited about this Premier League. I think that, I heard today that Arsenal want Aouar from Lyon. Well, he'd be a fantastic signing for them. They've already brought in Gabriel. They've got Willian. They've retained Aubameyang. You look at Spurs and All or Nothing and Mourinho. He's trying to build something there. You look at Man City. Pep's got to bounce back. You look at Liverpool. They were amazing last year. You look at all the business Chelsea have done. You look at what we're doing, and that's just the top six. You look at what Everton are doing. Are Leicester going to bounce back? What are Wolves going to be like this year? Will Sheffield United be as good? What are the promotion teams going to be? One of which is Leeds, one of our biggest rivals. On paper, it's a very, very, very exciting Premier League. What I would say is, though, there's so many years I've been excited about new seasons and club signings and everything like that. And after about 6 weeks, it settles into the status quo. I don't want to see Liverpool and Man City running away with it again. I do want to see... I thought the Premier League last year was shit. I thought we were shit up until Christmas. Well, up until the end of January. I thought Chelsea were dreadful, losing 12 games. At times we were good and at times they were good, but we've got to be way better. The gap between Liverpool and Man City and the rest was shocking. So hopefully we'll see a stronger Premier League, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm very excited about what Manchester United can achieve. And I think it's very important that we do get Sancho in. The interesting thing is going to be, and a lot of people are saying it, and mourning to Tristan, players going out the door. And there will be a watch along for the Villa game, but it's going to be a little bit later tomorrow because we're playing in the day, but it's not being shown in full until 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So we will do it's not going to be a live watch along because there is no ability to watch the game live, but we will do a revisit of it as a watch along tomorrow night. Please subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner, and smash a like on the video. But players leaving the club, I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I think it will be true. I think that United will move players out of the club once the season started, because again, it's not something urgent. There are still over 3 weeks left of this transfer window, and United selling players may be escalated once we've got Sancho done, once we've got most of our business done, and once some of our players that are hanging about to see what happens realise I'm not even a bench player. And I'm talking Pereira, I'm talking Mata, I'm talking Jones, I'm talking Rojo, maybe Lingard, maybe Delo, of course. So I think a lot of these players will see they need a move in the next couple of weeks. Not all of them, but some of them. So I think that the players... I've seen a few fans getting agitated that we haven't sold players, but you know what? I don't think there's going to be a lot of clubs across England and Europe who are desperately trying to sign Phil Jones in August. If we're going to sell a player like that, and a lot of our players are like this, the Rojos, it's going to be towards the end of the transfer window when clubs realise they need to get some business done and they get a little bit more desperate. So I think that's what will happen with that. Thanks everyone for watching. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. We have got an 8 o'clock show tonight, of course, and we will be live if anything breaks. And what I would say is, it feels to me like it's Sancho to be the next signing, and it feels to me like there's going to have to be some movement over the next 3 days to get him in for the Palace game. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens with it. But still 90% club, still very, very confident. There's nothing out there to make me not feel confident. And let's just see what the next few hours bring. But it's not going to be Sergio Reguilón today. If anyone thought it was, it's not, is it? Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.